They changed the world with their power, shaped history with their choices, and left behind fortunes that defy imagination. This is the ultimate wealth timeline, from millionaires to trillionaire titans. Martin Luther King Jr. had a dream for justice, not wealth, yet he left behind a legacy valued at $250,000. Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves and preserved the Union, all while accumulating a net worth of $1 million. Nelson Mandela went from prisoner to president, closing his life's chapter with a $1.2 million fortune and global admiration. Marie Curie uncovered the secrets of radiation and earned 2 Nobel Prizes, with a legacy that far outshined her $1.5 million net worth. Isaac Newton cracked gravity and the laws of motion, leaving behind a $2 million fortune and an apple's worth of genius. Vincent van Gogh only sold 1 painting in his life, but today his legacy is worth $4 million and infinite inspiration. Nikola Tesla lit up the world with ideas ahead of his time, dying with a reputation that now sparks a $4.8 million value. Vladimir Lenin led a revolution that reshaped Russia and left behind $5 million and a controversial legacy. Marilyn Monroe dazzled the world with her charm and mystery, leaving a $7 million mark on Hollywood forever. Winston Churchill battled through war with words and wit, ending with a $7.5 million net worth and a library of legacy. Galileo Galilei looked to the stars and changed our view of the universe, with a $7.6 million fortune grounded in genius. Mustafa Kemal Ataturk built modern Turkey from the ashes of empire and left behind a $9 million legacy of reform. Bruce Lee punched through barriers on and off screen, turning his philosophy and fists into a $10 million legend. Benjamin Franklin flew kites, founded nations, and printed his way to a $10.3 million fortune of wisdom and wit. Bob Marley strummed the soul of the world with reggae, leaving behind a $10.8 million rhythm of peace and revolution. Albert Einstein bent time and space with his mind, and left behind a $11 million equation of brilliance. Thomas Edison lit up the world with invention, powering up a $12 million legacy of innovation. Charles Darwin rewrote the story of life with evolution and naturally selected a $14 million fortune. Princess Diana stole hearts around the world, leaving a $25 million legacy of grace, charity, and tragedy. Elvis Presley shook the world with his hips and his voice, rocking his way to a $25 million kingdom of cool. Tupac Shakur spoke truth through poetry and pain, leaving behind $40 million and a voice that never died. Freddie Mercury ruled the stage like a true queen, turning his iconic voice into a $50 million symphony of stardom. Muhammad Ali floated like a butterfly, stung like a bee, and punched his way to an $80 million empire. Leonardo da Vinci painted, sketched, and invented his way to an $85 million legacy that still defines genius. John F. Kennedy dreamed of a better America, and with $99 million, his legacy remains as bold as his vision. Pelé kicked his way into football immortality, scoring not just goals, but a $100 million legacy across the globe. Al Capone ruled the streets with fear and flair, amassing a $150 million fortune built on crime and charisma. Michael Jackson moonwalked into music history, leaving behind a $236 million legacy that still makes the world dance. King Henry VIII changed church and crown with 6 wives and a $250 million royal roar of power. Pablo Picasso painted emotions with a twist, and his $250 million legacy is still framed in genius. Whitney Houston hit the high notes of history, leaving behind a $250 million legacy of soul and strength. Napoleon Bonaparte conquered empires, crowned himself, and left a towering $400 million fortune in his wake. Charlie Chaplin made the world laugh without a word and walked off screen with $450 million in silent gold. Queen Elizabeth II reigned with poise for 7 decades, leaving behind a $500 million legacy of royal resilience. George Washington led a revolution and a nation, accumulating $553 million and eternal respect as the first president. Kobe Bryant dominated the court and inspired generations, leaving behind a $600 million slam dunk of a legacy. John Lennon imagined peace, created timeless music, and left a $700 million echo of love and rebellion. Fidel Castro ruled Cuba with an iron fist and a surprising $900 million in revolutionary riches. Walt Disney turned dreams into an empire, building a $1 billion fairy tale that never stops growing. Julius Caesar conquered Rome and rewrote history, stacking up $2.5 billion in ancient power and ambition. Saddam Hussein ruled with fear and fortune, leaving behind a staggering $2.8 billion and a legacy of chaos. Adolf Hitler unleashed terror across the world, and with it came a dark $6.5 billion rise to ruin. Steve Jobs changed the world with a single button press, leaving a sleek $7 billion legacy of innovation. Benito Mussolini strutted through fascist Italy, carrying a $9 billion war chest and a trail of destruction. Pablo Escobar was the king of cocaine, turning crime into a $30 billion cartel empire. Cleopatra ruled with beauty and brilliance, commanding a $98.5 billion throne of ancient wealth. Henry Ford put the world on wheels and drove away with a $200 billion fortune built on innovation. Mir Osman Ali Khan, the Nizam of Hyderabad, wore diamonds like buttons, owning $210 billion and a crown of unimaginable luxury. Muammar Gaddafi ruled Libya with gold, oil, and fear, leaving behind an eye-watering $212 billion fortune buried in secrecy. John D. Rockefeller struck black gold and became the oil king, building a $340 billion empire drop by drop. Augustus Caesar didn't just rule Rome, he ruled the known world with a $4.6 trillion crown of absolute power. Joseph Stalin controlled an empire with terror and control, his grip valued at a mind-blowing $7.5 trillion. Alexander the Great conquered the world before 30 and carried a $32 trillion treasure of empires on his shoulders. Genghis Khan stormed continents and crushed dynasties, amassing a legendary $120 trillion empire no one dared challenge. These individuals didn't just make history, they owned it. So tell us, if you had the chance, would you rather be remembered for your wealth or what you did with it? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell, because history's richest stories are just getting started.